All right, welcome to the ranch, friends. We're back here again, and today we're gonna be doing some jerk chicken tacos with a pineapple habanero slaw and a little bit of barbecue sauce on top of that. So this was inspired by Jambos, Bobcat Bite, great people. I thought, why the heck not make it into street tacos? We have to start off to first make the marinade. We're gonna get us onion. I'm gonna knock the onion down just a little bit smaller so it's not so much work. Now we're getting to the other ingredients. Gotta have garlic cloves. Always gotta have a lot of garlic. You're gonna have some green onion. And then you'll have some oil. You usually wanna get this kind of from the start down to the bottom. You'll need some brown sugar. Got a little bit of ginger here. I'm gonna knock that down a little bit smaller so it has a little better chance there. We've got some dark rum right here. This isn't the spice stuff. It's gonna add a little flavor to it. Got cinnamon, got soy sauce. Now the soy sauce, it adds a lot of salt to it and obviously the depth of flavor there. But it really is a salty ingredient. So usually when you put that in, you don't have to add a lot of salt. We've got some nutmeg right there, some allspice. All right, that's apple cider vinegar, a little lime juice to brighten it up. We have some thyme, and then habaneros. This is what I like here. Now the habaneros, you can decide how you want it. Me, I like spicier stuff, but I am gonna de-seed it. If you're tough enough, you can throw them in there, seeds and everything. I'm sure everybody has a horror story about hot peppers and whatnot, and so my hands are used to it. It really doesn't irritate them, but you definitely don't want to touch your eyes because you are in bad business then. All right, we'll finish up this last one here. And a lot of times with peppers, whether it's sweet peppers, jalapenos, and whatever, if you notice how I'm rolling it, you can actually leave the core in the center, and you're kind of deveining it at the same time. As you can see, most of the veins are out and the seeds. All right, let's knock down this ginger a little bit. And ginger, whenever you're getting fresh ginger like this, a lot of people will try to actually peel it with peelers and whatnot. You can actually just take the end of a spoon and it just sloughs the skin of it right off. It's a lot easier than messing with the whole peeler deal. All right, there we go. We got our ginger rolling here. We got it over here. Let's go with this and see if we get lucky and it'll spin around. Oh yeah, baby. All right, so that's why I went and put the oil in first, because a lot of times if you have it all jammed up with your veg at the bottom, there's not enough moisture to get everything kind of whirling around and turning over. And with everything, I like to taste it, but do it at your own risk because there are habaneros and a lot of stuff in there. And that's good. Not too spicy. You obviously taste all the jerk seasonings in there that make it jerk. So to me, when it comes to chicken, I prefer chicken thighs. That's my favorite thing to use because they are very moist, and you know, it's kind of really hard to mess them up. If you have like chicken breast or something like that that doesn't have as much moisture in it, it's gonna dry out on you. So here we are with this. They're boneless and they're skinless. So now we made a big batch of marinade here, so I'm not gonna use the whole thing. We're just gonna add some right in here. Just really get it in there. This is gonna marinate overnight, but I've done it as long as 24 hours. But I would really recommend actually marinating overnight, because if you don't do it that long, you're really not gonna pick up all the flavor that this marinade will actually punch in there. All right, so we're good to go. These puppies are gonna be in the refrigerator overnight. But through the miracle of TV, we've got some coming up right here, ready to roll. So these have been going overnight, and you can already see on the chicken that it has absorbed a lot of that spice, and it's just ready to roll. Heat management when you're cooking outdoors is such a huge thing. And a lot of times, I like to cook on a grill. If I can hold my hand above the heat for about count to 1, 2, 3, and then you have to move it, that's about the temperature that I like to grill stuff on. All right, and you wanna spread your coals out. That's the whole idea. If you get your hand over here, now that's hot right there. About 3 seconds, I'm having to move. And that's perfect, the way I want it whenever I'm grilling. It doesn't matter if it's steaks. Actually, steaks, I'll get it even hotter than that because you really want a good sear on that. But for the chicken here, it's gonna be perfect. All right, we'll shake a little bit of the extra marinade off here. Hear that sizzle? That's what you're looking for, right there. Okie doke. You're gonna let them sear good on one side. Jerk chicken, it's got little burnt bits and everything else on there, and it has little bits of char. Or if they're doing it on a griddle, same thing, you know, it's gonna have darker spots. So that's what we're looking for right here. First, we're gonna go with the barbecue sauce because I'm gonna wanna put it on the fire. It'll help the sugar actually dissolve, and that's what we're gonna do next. So here we go, got a little pan here. Now this is gonna start out like most barbecue sauces. You know, you always have some form of, you know, brown sugar in there or something like that, and ketchup is usually the base. So what we've got here is brown sugar. We have our jerk marinade right there. That's the secret ingredient, and then ketchup. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. And this is as simple as it gets. This is the way I make it, so there we are. There's our brown sugar, and then we've got our jerk marinade. All right, we're just gonna kind of give this a little mix, then we'll throw it back out there on the fire. I grew up in Texas, and we don't use a lot of barbecue sauce. Whenever we're barbecuing, it's, I would say for the most part, we kind of believe the meat should stand for itself. So at brisket, you never have that. But different regions of the country, they do it different ways. I'm not saying my way's right, but this barbecue sauce right here would be good on brisket or anything else. It has kind of converted me. It's got great spice, it's really good. All right, so we got that half mixed up here. We'll throw it next to the chicken here, get it warming up. So we're just gonna go ahead and make the slaw sauce that's gonna go in there. All right, so what we have here is lime juice, pineapple juice, a little bit of oil, apple cider vinegar, and honey. And that's a good combination for any kind of slaw. You're gonna get the apple cider vinegar, and it's gonna offset the sweetness of the honey. And really, when you start with that base and add a little bit of oil to it, you can add any flavor you want after that. Apple cider vinegar, and here's your acids for it. It's pineapple juice, lime juice, and then the oil. So it's very similar to making a vinaigrette. It's mixed up, kind of incorporated. Now we're gonna get in our bowl here, and the awesomeness is fixing to happen. There's nothing crazy wild going on here. We're just getting it in there. Now there's a little bit of honey that's hanging on here. That's all right. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. So we just get in with the tongs, and we're gonna make sure that everything kind of gets a little coating on there. And that oil is gonna help it coat. And then again, we've got sweetness from the pineapple. We got a little heat in there. And what's great about this slaw right here, it's got such good color. Pairing something like pineapple or something of that nature, to me, just really meshes well with it. All right, so we got that sucker mixed up pretty good. We're good to go there. Now you don't want this to reduce too much. You just want it all to incorporate right there, and this is looking great. We're gonna bring this back across here, and that's our other ingredient set to go. So our chicken's sitting back here. It's just been kind of keeping warm while we're doing everything else. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that off. We can take a look at it. All right, just coming off the grill right there. We got good grill marks, good caramelization. You can even see the juice starting to run out. So we're gonna let that rest a minute. And to me, it's really important. I never used to do this at all. You know, I was like, no, don't let it rest. I'm hungry, let's eat. It does make a difference because it lets the juices come back into the meat. If you just go in here and I was to start chopping up on this, juices are gonna run out on the plate and then you're gonna lose it. So why do you wanna lose all that good juice and moisture in there? So I'm gonna use corn tortillas today. You can make your own, and I really enjoy making my own a lot of times, but sometimes I just don't wanna mess with it. So we got some store-bought tortillas right here, corn. And what really works a lot of times for me is if you brush them a little bit with oil before you put them on a comal or anything like that, it just kind of toasts it and works a little better. Some people actually go and they'll put it in a microwave just to knock down the stiffness on them, but I prefer to get them on the grill. Now we're going to the grill. Let me check my heat over here. I'm just gonna go straight on the grill where I was cooking the chicken. And I've just been used to doing tortillas on griddles and everything else, so I don't use tongs. But please, use tongs if you think you're gonna burn yourself. It's not worth it. I can already feel them getting more tender right here. The air bubbles are starting to puff up. You're starting to get some around here. So to me, that's getting the right direction. That's how I like them. If I get a little char on here, it'll be perfect. So this is rested. We're gonna go ahead and knock this out. I'm probably gonna go like this, and we're gonna dice it, bigger dice. But as you can see, you got nice, it's not dried out, and all that char and all that great marinade is gonna add tons of flavor to it. Get the tortillas off of here. They're nice and warm. Got some nice toast on one. That's gonna be the perfect one right there. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna kind of lay that down. Now we're gonna come in with a little bit of the chicken. Like that right there. And you know, a lot of food is eaten with your eyes. And when you get this kind of color popping off of that, that's not a bad thing. So now the best part, I get to taste this. That's good. That's all I can say. It has great texture because of all the slaw. You know, you have that good depth of flavor because you utilize the jerk sauce into your barbecue sauce. And then what else is there to say about the chicken? Marinated it overnight. It picks up all those flavors. It helps it stay moist. And there you have it. Good tacos to eat on any evening. I'd even eat them for breakfast. It wouldn't matter.